Welcome. This is Peter Sunday One Hour Ramble episode, and I'm your host Peter. And welcome. And let's start with the slogan: Learn English, be successful, change your life, open a lot of doors, create your own podcast, write your own novel. You don't need to be talented because learning English is for everyone. Okay, people. Uh, Hi everyone. I'm your host Peter, and this is, as I said before, 1 hour. Uh, Peter, what are you talking about? You can keep your slogan here, yes, because I won't use it later. And okay, let's continue. And and welcome everyone. This is my Peter Sunday 1 hour ramble episode, and the main goal of this 1 hour ramble episode is to survive and improvise for 1 hour without any kind of preparation, without stopping, without changing, without everything. And I'm so happy that I can do this again for 1 hour. But Peter, don't touch anything. You cannot. And and let's start. Okay, people. Tram ta da da. Here I am. And what we can start? Yes, I can talk about this week. Because this week, this week mm, I started with four picture mode episodes where I was streaming and recording for picture in picture mode episodes called Learn English Be Peter, what they're talking about. Learn English with Peter, where I was chatting with the study and learn mode on Microsoft Copilot, and I did it. And and then on Friday, I I had I wanted to have my publication day. The publication day of Peter's English podcast, but I discovered on Luke's English podcast. You know who is or what is Luke's English podcast is my favorite English podcast for learning English. Luke was talking in his earlier ramble episode that some of his episodes. That a few of his very old episodes from his past, thanks to copyright, can be deleted, and I decided to save the whole archive. But and I started to do it, and I started to save it one every MP3 from his website. But what happened? I discovered that his LEP archive is so big that I couldn't reach it the whole episode. But I rescued 246 episode. I saved for my personal use every his episodes, every his episode since he start from 2020 2009 until the end of the year 2014. And and okay, I wanted to simply save the whole archive, but and I decided to use the help of study and learn mode of Microsoft Copilot, because I wanted to save the whole archive automatically and quickly. But I discovered that Luke uses Acast for his as his podcast hosting service, and there is not any chance how to do it at all. And I decided that 246 episodes are enough for me, because the most of his episodes are safe. But I think that that I didn't do that it wasn't that I did a big mistake, because my opinion is that his this that his episodes are safe forever. But I did it, and because my opinion is that I don't think that Akast would uh, would care about his episodes. But okay, but I cannot save the whole episode archive in one go, and I decided to simply don't do this. And on Saturday, I had a big podcast day before me, because I started my Saturday with the publication day of Peter's English podcast, and I published all 8 episodes of Peter's English podcast. 8 recordings, and in the afternoon I wrote, streamed, and recorded chapter 14 of season 3 of my novel, Vera the Vampire Diary. And in this chapter 14, Vera had to live uh, had to live with his dark side because because her dark side took control over her, and Vera was very dangerous. And yes, of course, Peter's brother Pavel was the leader of the anti-vampire organization, and he was so clever that he created very big anti-vampire organization with a big hordes of werewolves, and they uh, caught the most richest vampires, and he earned uh, uh, their money only for himself, and Peter was with the uh, in the flat of the female vampire Elena, and he was there with her good friend, the female vampire, and Anastasia, because I decided to use these names, and create uh, Peter's workplace in very interesting way. And Peter was there, and he was sad, and the vampire girls tries to make fun with to make fun with him, and so on. And Vera escaped because Vera is with her dark side is was very dangerous, and she escaped from the spa uh, cage, uh, where where she was, because the council of the dark organization decided to to uh, how can I tell it in English, Peter? Think. And simply don't stop. And they decided that Vera is too dangerous, and they sent her own. Uh, mm, how can I say it again? Her best female vampire warriors, but she escaped, and she escaped to Peter, and Peter discovered that the two female vampires, his friends, Elena and Anastasia, uh, were loyal to Vera, and Vera simply uh, wanted to make to Peter have back, and Peter ran to her as her boyfriend, because they didn't split with each other. They simply returned. They were dating with each other. I mean, Peter and Vera, because in my story, everything has to end perfect, and it was so. And Vera with Peter, and with the female vampires, Elena and Anastasia, went to the uh, disco, and they were dancing together, and Peter discovered that she loves Vera, and Vera loves Peter, and they had a very good times until her dark side wanted to bite uh, Peter, but Diana returned in the right time, and stopped Vera, and Vera decided that her dark side has to go away from her, and she did it, and it was a perfect time until Peter's brother Pavel came with the werewolves of the anti-vampire organization, but Vera was strong enough to stop him, and and Pavel's werewolf returned to Vera, and Vera decided that the biggest punishment for Pavel can be the marriage with the beautiful female vampire. Yes, of course, I decided that any violence cannot be in my stories, and that was the end. And of course, Vera with Peter were happy together, and they loved each other. And this was the end of my chapter 14. And I don't know how to continue with this story, but I can simply continue with the new funny situations from Vera's work, from the work of her family, and I can make fun of the in the romantic relationship between Peter and Vera. Well, we'll see. And what what else? Yes, I can talk now about the new topic, and it's yes, people. I want to talk about the statistics of Peter's English podcast, and I want to start with the total statistics of Peter's English podcast in my Spotify for Creators app. Yay! And now the biggest Peter, don't destroy something. And now the biggest fun that I discovered that the app of Spotify for Creators is a big rubbish, is a big disaster. Why? Because in my phone, the statistics, I mean the total statistics of Peter's English podcast are not correct in the app. And I discovered it when I wanted to upload 8 episodes of my Peter English podcast into my Spotify for Creators account during my laptop on my uh, um, oh, how can I tell you? Yes, if I tried to upload it via my laptop simply, and I discovered that I have now people I have 4,109 total streams or downloads everywhere except YouTube. Yay! Thank you, girls, and thank you, boys too. Thank you, everyone that you love my podcast, and thank you everyone for the support. And and I want to simply to continue that is uh, Spotify for Creators app doesn't work, uh, and I don't know it's if it's only my problem or it's the rules of the Spotify for Creators that the statistics are updating later. I don't know, but it cannot work so, and I simply had to uninstall it. And I did it because, in my opinion, Spotify for Creators app is a big rubbish and is completely useless for me because I cannot check the right and the correct total statistics of my Peter's English podcast. And Spotify, do something with it, please. But okay. But Spotify for Creators is still the best option for my podcast because it's free. It's totally free. And Bob Zuranka, I don't care about anything else. And people, you can use it if you want to use their free service because it's free and it's great. And and I want to continue with the Spotify statistics of my Peter's English podcast, where I have 544 plays. Yes, people, I have on Spotify. I have 544 plays, and now I want to continue with the audience of my Spotify. I mean the Spotify of my Peter English podcast because the majority of my audience are girls in my ages, you know. Perfect. Thank you, girls, and thank you, boys too. And from Slovakia, yes, and the biggest country uh, of the total statistics is the USA. Thank you, guys. Yay! Thank you, guys. That the USA is the biggest country. On the second place is for Vietnam. Third place is for Japan. Fourth place is for Brazil, and fifth place is for Slovakia. Yay! Perfect. And and now I want to continue with the watch time of Spotify on my Spotify, and people do. Uh, you don't believe, but I have 19 hours and 51 minutes of total watch time only for Spotify. That's great. Thank you, guys. I'm so happy that you like my podcast. And this is the numbers only for Spotify, and that's great. And now I want to continue with the statistics of YouTube, where I have. um, the watch time I have of my YouTube channel is 138 total watch hours. That's great. Thank you, guys. And how to continue? Yes, now with the YouTube Reels, I have more than 6,800 plays. I mean YouTube Reels, and And my long videos, I mean audio plus video, simply the long videos have the same number of views uh, like like my Spotify for Creators account, and and I have 4,100 views only for my long video. That's great. And my live streams have now more than 750 views. Thank you guys. That means that the total plays or views are more than 11,000 views, and that's great. I'm so happy because it means that people like my content, and that's great. Okay, and how to continue with this? Okay, people, that it was the statistics of my Peter's English podcast, and I can continue with the rambling. And yes, I told you that Luke told I'm Luke is my favorite podcaster. He is the host of Luke's English podcast, and and I I don't know if it's true that his episode that where with the copyright problems can be deleted. I don't know. I simply downloaded his first 2046 episodes for every case, but I think, and my personal opinion is that Luke's episodes are safe because Acast don't his Acast and Acast is his podcast hosting service that doesn't care about this because uh, they don't have any kind of this uh, checking things. But people, let's hope that his feed stays full, like for uh, like until now. And Peter, you don't know what to say in English. Yes, of course I don't know, but I simply wanted to support Luke, that because Luke is my hero and I like to listen to his favorite English podcast, my favorite English podcast, that is Luke's English podcast, and I recommend you people listen to Luke's English podcast. It's my favorite British English podcast for learners like you. It's about natural British English, how it's spoken. Luke recorded more than 990 episodes, and every episode has at least 1 hour, and you can improve your English like me. And thank you, Luke, for your great job. And I hope that your podcast episodes are safe and no one will delete your episodes. I hope so. And we can and my and I listen to two American English podcasts. They are called Speak English Podcast Now with Georgiana and Speak English Podcast Now with Georgiana and All Ears English Podcast. And they are about American English and American culture. And you can improve your American English too if you want. But if you want, that's not the end. If you want to uh, really learn English, you have to practice your speaking skills, writing skills, and writing skills, and reading skills too. And why? Because we have to practice every kind of English, uh, every topic of your English learning. And I do this regularly because I started to write my fairy tales because I wanted to practice. I wanted to practice my writing skills in English, and I remember people that I started to write in English, but I didn't know how to do this. I didn't know a big English vocabulary, and I changed it, and I decided to write in Slovak, and I used AI chatbots, and I use AI chatbot for translating into natural correct English because I write in Slovak, and I put the Slovak version into the chat of AI chatbots, and they translate it into natural correct English, and I can improve my English thanks to this because I can learn new English modern vocabulary, and I can improve my English. And I think it's a very good idea to do this. And I don't know, my throat hurts a little. I don't know. Oh, maybe I'm sitting in the bed position. But okay, people, let's continue. And okay, this is Peter's. Welcome again. If you are still here, I don't know who can watch this, but people, as I said, the main goal of these ramble episodes is surviving and improvising, because I think the real English conversations are about surviving and improvising. And I simply don't know what to talk about, but but I try to survive for 1 hour without any kind of preparation, and I talk about looks and possible problems. I hope that these episodes are safe uh, 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 are safe in general, because I like Look English podcast. I'm a big Labster, and you can discover Look's paid service. You can support Look with and you can support everyone. Yes, of my favorite everyone. I mean every good podcaster that I listen to, because my favorite English podcasters are great, and you can improve your English. And thanks to learning English, you can enjoy a big world of English content, because you can watch movies and series in English. You can listening to your favorite English podcast and and audiobooks. You can create your own English podcast, and you can write your own novel like me, and practice your writing skills, because you have to practice your writing skills, and you have to practice your reading skills, and you can listen to a English audiobook and read ebook in the same time, or you can buy it. But I think ebook is better choice, because if you don't have a lot of free space at home, you can simply use ebook version, and that's great. And I was thinking, and I'm still thinking about Peter's talk show. What is Peter's talk show? Peter's talk show is a possible kind of episodes where I want to speak with guests. But I was thinking about it, that if I want to call someone who can be with me in my room, or simply it has to be someone who has to allow this kind of uh, interview online on YouTube, and this guy cannot tell Peter, okay, it was fine to talking you, but please delete it, and Bob's your uncle. No, because it has to be the part of my podcast, and its podcast, because I want to connect with someone like me, who likes learning English, who has its own English podcast, and who writes its in his its its novel like me. I don't know why my throat hurts. I don't know. Simply I move it badly. Okay, Peter, don't talk rubbish. Peter, talk rubbish, because this is Peter Sunday 1 hour ramble episode, and I was thinking that if I want to have one day a guess and create Peter's talk show, it has to be someone who likes learning English like me, who is a owner of its own English podcast like me, and who has its own English novel for practicing English like me. Yes, it has to be someone like me, and everyone can do this. Because you can do this too if you. But it depends on if you want to do this. And don't worry, you don't need a lot of time for it. It can be something really short. The most important thing is that you have to do this for learning English like me, and you have to be fanatic into it like me. And believe me, everyone can do this. But most important thing is that these people has to allow to publish uh, this kind of episodes for me, because it cannot happen that I do live streams with these guys or girls, and after some time they decide to delete it, because I cannot use it, because they don't want to be uh, online on YouTube and so on. It's not very easy. I don't know if it can happen. I don't know, because I didn't have any guess until now, and who knows? And I don't know. And the truth is that I don't have microphones for Peter's talk show? Yes, I have, but I have only one dynamic mic Shure MV6 with boom arm, Rode PS 1 Plus, or how it's called, I don't know. Simply so. And I have my condensator mic, Logitech Blue Yeti. That is I think the best idea for recording Peter's talk show, because I can use his omnidirectional mode. It means that it can record voices from every direction of the room, but it can record everyone from the whole house. I don't know if it's a good idea for me, but after checking the prices of dynamic microphones and boom arms, I don't think that I want to. I don't know why my throat. Oh, ow! It hurts. It hurts. I don't know. I'm sitting in the normal, correct position. Peter, simply continue. And because I was checking the prices, and you don't believe me, every professional dynamic microphone like Shure MV6 costs at least €100, and you can check and you can count if I want to buy at least two or four for me and my free guests, that it can cost a lot of money. And you know that I cannot use dynamic mics that have USB C connection. I have to buy dynamic mics with the accelerometer connection, and I need an audio machine that I have to connect to my laptop, and it can cost a lot of money. And I don't have any guess until now. And yes, I think the best idea for me is using my condensator mic Logitech Blue Yeti, but in this case I cannot use his um, I cannot use this radio voice that I like and very much, because the condensator microphones are different. But I think it's the best idea, because I don't need to buy this stuff for my live streams if I don't have guests. I can't simply buy one day. Why not? Because I have rooms in my house where we can do and have fun, because it's a very good idea for learning English, for practicing our speaking skills. We can have fun, we can play board games while we are doing live streams, and we can speak in English the whole time, and we can do this every weekend. Why not? Oh, very weekend, Peter. What they're talking about? You want to write your novel, the Vampire Girl Diary? Yes, I think that every Sunday, or I don't know, because normal people work during the work days. I think that every Sunday is a very good idea, or every second, or I don't know how to manage it, because I can manage it if this interview is during. Uh, it's via the internet, because in this case I can do this every day, before work or after work, because I can talk with my current staff for 1 hour. But if I meet these people, that it has to be during the weekends, during Sundays and so on, because it has to be a free day. But as I said it before, Peter, don't worry. You don't have any friends, and you don't have any guests until now. Yes, it's true. I don't have, and who knows? But it has to be someone that I can trust, because I cannot call everyone that I don't know. It has to be someone that I trust, and it has to be someone who is a good friend of mine. And I don't trust people and anyone these days, because there are a lot of false people who simply gossip behind my back, and it is not very nice, because I had a very bad experience with the people. Uh, and 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 you have to know that if you want to be my friend, you have to be like me. As I said 100 times before, you have to be English learner like me, with its own podcast and novel. And and you and and you cannot gossip behind my back, of course, like others like to make, because we like to judge, judge every each other, and we like to gossip behind our backs, and we can uh, and we like to judge that, oh, that we are better than the guys who we are gossiping about, and so on. No, thank you, it is terrible. And yes, of course, I don't want to spend my free time with someone who doesn't care about me, who is not in contact with me, and who is against my learning English, because I like to learning English. It's my hobby, and you cannot stop me. You cannot stop me. And yes, of course, I can talk about romantic relationships in general, because I think that you like to connect with the opposite gender, um, who who you can trust. You cannot connect with every. In my case, in every girl. I cannot connect with every girl because she's beautiful. No, it has to be someone who I can trust. It has to be someone who like learning English like me. It has to be. I think that you have to be lucky. That's all. And it's not very kind of you if you like to make fun of someone because he's single and so on, because you can be single too one day if you have a romantic relationship or you are married. Don't worry that, because you can be single too one day, and it's not very kind of you. But as I said before, people like to gossip and make fun of everyone, and it's not very, because you can hurt its feelings. And what I can talk about. Yes, and yes, I can talk about the relationships between people and between families and so on. And I don't like these times, because people don't visit each other. And if they visit each other, they are only complaining about the life, about that the life is boring and blah blah blah. And 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 they are uh, remember, and they like to talk about good old times. No, thank you, because they only remember the good situation from their past, and this is boring. This is and they complain about everything, and I don't spend my time with someone who likes to complain about everything the whole time, and judge everyone and gossip about everyone behind his back. I don't want to connect with this kind of people, and I like these times, because yes, I don't want to be alone. No one wants to be alone, but I don't want to spend my time with someone who only complains about everything, who doesn't care about me, who doesn't care about my learning English, and about my podcast. It has to be someone who is funny, who likes learning English like me, and we has to have fun together, and we can do live streams and uh, together for our podcast, and we can have a good time with each other as friends and so on. But I don't want to spend my time with someone who only likes to gossip, and I don't like to that people don't like to visit each other these days. And 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 I don't like when someone is only chatting via internet, and if someone invite someone during internet, it's not very personal, these times. And and and, and I don't like this online writing. And yes, I can tell you from my former experience with writing with girls from the internet, that people doesn't care about someone who are they writing and chatting, because you are very uh, because you don't care, because you write with someone during internet, and people always think that they are anonymous, and nothing can happen to them, and so on. And they like to talk rubbish, they like to make fun via internet, and they like to hurt someone via online messages and so on. Is not very kind. And and I don't know, and I don't simply like only chatting with someone during internet, because it's not very personal, it's boring. And I don't have time with chatting, because girls on the internet like to scroll the social media. And yes, I have to talk about social media too. I'm not very happy that people spend their free times on mobiles. We found doing something, and I hate when people like to scroll the social media. And Bobby Duranko, you can learn English like me. You can have fun like me. Yes, I'm on internet too, like you. Yes, I use my phone like you. But I listen to my favorite English podcasts. I do my own Peter's English podcast. And I write my own novel, The Vampire Diary. I built my podcast for 2 years because I've been streaming since August 2024 until now. And you can do this too. And I think learning English is a very good idea because English is a worldwide language. Number one is the language of the business, and the 90% of the internet is in English. And then you can learn a second language. Yes. And I don't yes, I now I can speak about the situation where people or or children learn learn nonsense in the schools, because I think, I mean, that people that not people, I mean, children can choose language they can learn. Okay, but the reality is that the biggest language, number one, the language of business, the language of internet, is English, and it stays English. It doesn't make any sense to learn only something different like English. Yes, you can learn another languages, but you have to learn English. And I think English has to be the number one foreign language of Slovak schools. But okay, I don't want to speak about this. Uh, I'm 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 simply talking you about explaining you my opinion about learning English and about learning languages, and that's all. But yes, I'm simply not happy that people, and the second thing is that learning English in schools is simply terrible and old fashioned, because you cannot learn it from the grammar books only like me. If you want to really uh, speak English, you have to listen a lot. Yes, you have to listen, and there are a lot of perfect natural British English and American English podcasts for practicing your listening skills. You can listen audiobooks, but I recommend you, if you want to listen natural English how it's spoken, podcasts are the best idea. Why? Because you can English natural, no scripted uh, English conversations between native speakers. Yeah, you can use sitcoms too, because there are a lot of natural English sentences. But watching movies have scripted language, and it's very hard to understand them. But you can try, of course. You can have fun, and and as my favorite English podcasters explained, watching news in English is not a very good idea, because the English of news are is completely different. Okay, I've been streaming for 38 minutes. What I can talk about? Yes, and I don't know. Yes, I can return. What I can return? I can return to my statistics, and I'm very happy that my podcast is growing. Yes, I could have better statistics. One of my episodes can have more than 10,000 views. Only one, not the whole podcast. The whole podcast has 4,109 total views. It's great number for me. Yes, I know, but it can be better, because I think that my stories are good. And yes, I can tell you that the most popular kind of English of episodes of Peter's English podcast are Learn English with Peter. Yes, because there are only about learning English. And I was thinking about it, that why is the biggest country USA, and why people from the USA like to learn English. Why native speakers don't need to learn English from the USA? Because I was thinking about it, that there are a lot of people from foreign countries, no native speakers, they live in the USA and they like to learn English, and because they're living there and they like to listen to my podcast, and that's great. I thank you very much. Because why? Because I use the study and learn mode on Microsoft Copilot that explains in funny way the correct English grammar, and people likes it, and people like to listen to watch or listen AI generated stories by Microsoft Copilot that are funny, and yes, I simply, Peter, how could you forget? You forgot to tell about the watch time of your uh, the watch time of your episodes. Yes, now I can start, people. I want to talk about the top 10 of the most popular episodes of Learning English, of my Peter's English podcast with the highest uh, with the highest watch time. Yes, and you don't believe me, but 8 from 10 are Learn English with Peter. Yay! That's not a surprise because people like to learn English, yes, of course. And the biggest surprise for me was when I discovered on my Spotify for Creators account that that Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 of Season 3 of my novel Viera the Vampire Diary is in the top 10 of my most popular episodes that have the biggest watch time. Thank you, guys. And Chapter 1 with Chapter 2 have together 51 minutes. That's great. People like my novel too. Yes, uh, I think that people can discover old episodes too, but I'm simply very happy that people like Viera stories, but people like AI generated stories about Viera too. We've learned English but I think it's only about the title. Learning English episodes are very popular for learners of English like me, and that's simply great. And yes, of course, I want to talk in general that only one apps only one app cannot teach you English. It's not that you can download apps like Duolingo and learn English with them. No, it's only these apps are about only playing. You can only play with like playing games. But if you want to really learn English, you have to practice writing skills, listening skills, English grammar, reading, speaking, and yes, you have to speak, and you have to think in English if you want to speak English fluently, and you have to practice your writing skills. And I think that your own English podcast is the best idea for it, because you can have fun with it like me. And yes, because my Peter's English podcast is about practicing my speaking skills in English, and I'm so happy that I can do this. And yes, I have to criticize again Spotify for Creators, because yes, it's free, but their app has to work. It cannot use bad statistics, and it cannot be late with the updating of the statistics, and the statistics of Spotify of creators are completely useless. It looks like Facebook. You can please, I have to tell this, but this it's only my opinion that the statistics and the whole design of this Spotify for creators, it's it's terrible. It's completely useless for me as podcaster, because the statistics are not very complete. Yes, I can check the most, the watch time of Spotify. Yes, I can discover the people, the gender of the people, the countries, and so on. But it's not very good, and it's not very, and it and the Spotify for creators app is simply terrible completely. I hope that Spotify will do something with it. And the statistics are terrible too. It's not. I cannot imagine that this service can be paid. It simply cannot be paid in the future, and I'm so happy that Spotify is so big, and huge company with a very strong and big and huge profit, that is for free. I mean, the Spotify for creators, it's great because it's free. I like to use it because it's free. But if you want to use it as but I cannot imagine it like the paid service. No, thank you. But I'm strong, and then I'm very happy then I can use it for free using. And yes, it's only my opinion, and I can tell my opinion about the company that uh, I mean about the service of this company. And I hope that Spotify can upgrade their service for because uh, yes, yes, people. I had to tell you that the Spotify for creators added want to add support for Apple Podcasts halasa video. I'm simply happy because, as you know, Apple Podcasts wants to add halasa support, and you can, and in the future you can watch videos in Apple Podcasts, and I'm simply very happy that Spotify wants to add this because I was thinking that that they want to only only use their Spotify videos. I mean, they only their service, but I'm simply happy that I can use it in the future. I hope that it will come soon. And yes, I can simply tell you, Spotify, please upgrade your in positive way your app and your statistics too. But thank you very much for your great free service, and I'm very happy that your service is free. Thank you guys, and please. I'm sorry if you don't like my uh, review, but it's only my opinion about the service of Spotify for creators. But I still have to recommend because it's free. People, podcasters, use it because it's free. Okay, but there are another free services. And now I can talk about AI again, people. Peter, AI again. Why? Because I want to talk about AI because thanks to AI chatbots, you can improve your English. You can chat with it in English like with the real friend, and it can repair your grammar errors. You can speak, you can chat with it like with the real person, and it can find the right internet of the on the internet, and it was created as a perfect creative partner. And please, people, don't believe this rubbish that AI was created for replacing humans. No, but please don't use it uh, as your real friend. It wasn't created for replacing people. It wasn't created for replacing your friends. You have to simply use it for learning, for uh, for learning English, and for positive things. It's a perfect tool, but it cannot be your friend because it's not alive. But I use it for my podcast, and I use it for everything. But people, be careful with it because you have to check the right information from the internet, because as the companies who created these AI chatbots always say, you have to be careful only in the situation when you have to know the truth about the truth from the internet, because it can tell you rubbish. And but you can check their search service. It can search you the right information, and then you can be okay, and you can feel better because you know that the information that was found it or found from the internet, and and and, and the situation that you are talking with AI is true. Yes, I wanted to simply tell you that you have to always check the right information from the internet that you are speaking with AI, because I can remember when I tried to buy what it was yes, it was the pop-up filter from Elgato. Yes, and I was thinking that because Copilot explained that, Peter, you have to buy this because it's better, because it's good for your podcast, for your podcast. And I did it, and then I discovered no, it is for Elgato mic, and it's got that better mic. But I could use this 14 days warranty, and I did it, and I had my money back, and that's great. And it was the happy end. And yes, I can talk about the LANs. Yes, about the LAN cables, because why I want to. Okay, outside is beautiful weather. I want to talk about LAN cables. Why? Because I simply discovered that the plastic chip connector of my LAN cable is broken again. Yes, and I can talk about it. This is very funny. This is very funny. Peter, what do you want? What simply explains your funny story about the LAN cables, because I called it Yuri, because uh, I simply like this joke that about about the two workers. It's a joke, people. I can tell you this joke that and the joke is uh, two workers uh, was building the wall, and the wall was so terribly built that the one of them uh, that they want to have money for their work before it falls down. uh, and one tell another jury hold the walls until, and I pay until I go for the money, and I called it my LAN cable jury, because it holds this the whole internet, the whole fun. but but its connector, it's broken, and it's called, and it can escape in every moment, and it's funny. And someone can tell me, Peter, why don't you buy a new one? Because the new one is the same cheap plastic connector, that it can be broken again. And yes, I had problems with the very cheap plastic connector of my LED light. It is broken now, but I don't need it, because I discovered it that the ring uh, studio LED light uses male one four screw that I can connect to my tripod, that uses female one four screw, kind of screw, and I simply connect it without problems, and I can use it until, and I can use it without any problems, and I'm so happy. Oh, I've been streaming for 51 minutes. These times go so quickly. Okay, I'm so happy. I hope that this ramble cannot have any problems. Because why? I simply explain you my opinions and about Spotify for Creators account. Yes, in general, I like it, their service, because it's free. It's completely free, and I like this. But there are problems like terrible apps, uh, like terrible Spotify for Creator app that is useless, and their useless statistics are completely different. That their design looks like Facebook, because you can chat with someone. Yes, it's very useful chatting with someone, but the statistics can be bigger. And because myself as the content creator, I want to know more information, but I know that in the future Spotify for creators would be better, because Spotify will wants to improve their service like everyone. And but I simply not need to make fun of their completely useless app. But I hope that in the future they can repair it, and I hope that this ramble cannot be deleted. But why? Oh, I simply told you my own experience and opinion about their statistics. But I like their free service, and I didn't want it to hurt them. No, no. I simply wanted to make fun of their bad, terrible service, and I want to talk about it online. But I like their free service, okay, people. But you can use another services, of course. They are free or paid if you want, like others, like Akas or others. But I don't know anything about this. And what else? Uh, Okay, I don't know. Peter, simply continue, because you have been talking for 53 minutes. Yes, people, I can tell you that that my that the second birthday of Peter's English podcast are coming. Yay! Yes, 24 June. Uh, 24 June is the birthday of my is the second birthday of my Peter's English podcast, and I'm so happy that uh, uh, and I'm so happy that I've been doing this podcast for 2 years now, because yes, I'm playing that I'm a big podcaster. Yes, I know, but learning English is about playing. Learning English is about having fun, and I'm having fun, and I'm so proud of myself that I like to do this. It's my hobby, and everyone can do this and have fun. You don't need to do long episodes like me. I'm doing it because I like to do it, and it's funny, and I have plenty of free time. But if you don't have a long time, eh, but if you don't have a long or free time, you can simply do these short episodes. But the most important thing is that you have to practice your speaking skills and listening skills and reading skills regularly for every day. But you don't need to do this uh, but you don't need to find your free time. You simply, for example, you can listen to your favorite English podcast when you are doing something. If you are cooking, cleaning, if you are, and you have to simply find the free time uh, during your day when you can do this. Yes, I don't know if you have children. You can, if your children are little and they are sleeping, you can find this, you can use this free time for listening, and you don't need to listen 1 hour episodes in one go. You can simply pause it, because today's pod English this I mean podcast apps are very smart. It can remember your position, and that's great. And yes, I can talk now about because we are in the section about podcast, about podcast and podcast apps that I'm I'm simply curious how if this video podcast will come to another podcast apps like Pocket Cast and Good Pods on and so on, or if it stays simply with Apple Podcast, because they use Halasa video system, and it can be free, because people like to watch podcasts like TV shows, like television. And it's great that it's improving this kind of English podcast. uh, I mean, this kind of entertainment, because people can use the power of the internet for learning English. You don't need, thanks to learning English, you don't need to watch sport. You don't need to watch boring Slovak or Czech televisions. You can simply learn English and have fun. But yes, you can watch sport in English. But I don't know if you can do this in Slovakia or Czechia. But thanks to learning English, you can have fun. You can create new friends. You can have a better paid job, and you can open a lot of doors. Okay, I've been streaming for 56 minutes, and then this is the end of this live stream. But I want to continue for the next 4 or 5, 7 minutes and Bobby Ranko. But no, people, is not the end. And what I can talk about that, yes, I can talk that the next about my plans. Yes, I can talk about my plans, because the next week is the week A, when I work in the afternoon, and is the usual time when I can relax and only listen to my favorite English podcast during after my work. And I want to continue with the next weekend, with the next Saturday, that is about writing, streaming, and recording chapter 15 of season 3 of my novel, Where the Vampire Killed Diary, and it's time for adding uh, more uh, more situation uh, from Vera's London, because as you know, Vera and Peter live together in London. They work in London. Vera and Peter live in English in Bennett's typical English pub, and Vera's family work in the food warehouse together. And I can't add this realistic background of London, because Vera doesn't speak very well. Uh, doesn't speak English very well with Peter, and her family doesn't speak English at all. And I can use it, and I can create this realistic English situations, but in the funny way, because as you know, Vera the Vampire Diary is my sitcom that you can watch everywhere. And yes, people, I think that it's time to talk about this, that you can watch me everywhere. No, not everywhere. You can watch me on YouTube, and you can watch me on Spotify, because I'm on Spotify and on YouTube, and in the future I can be on Apple Podcast too. I mean, my full HD video podcast. And but you can listen to via a very good or bad podcast app, and you can support me with follow. And yes, I can talk about my YouTube followers, because I discovered that I don't have 45 followers but 34 followers. One follower decided that my show is not good enough for him or her. I'm sorry, guys, but please don't unfollow me. Please follow me. Follow me everywhere. Write positive comments. And if you want to be my friend, as I said 1 million times before, I know I talking about the same, the like like the bird, like stupid bird. But okay, I simply want to tell you again that I want to connect with someone like me who is English learner. Okay, I'm so happy that the time is ending and I'm feeling like the radio presenter in my own radio show, but it's live stream on the internet. It's like TV. It's like my Peter's English podcast is like my own television with the radio, and that's great that this time of the internet came. Yes, the negatives are that people don't spend face to face with each other. That it's not very good times where when people don't want to visit each other. But the good times of this internet is that people can learn English more easily, that people can connect with everyone in the world, and people can learn English and because the main language of the internet is English, and you can do a English podcast and connect and have fun. But okay, people, I don't want to talk another 1 hour. 1 hour is for me enough. Okay, people, let's end this live stream. And here is my slogan: learn English, be successful, change your life, open other doors, create your own podcast, write your own novel. You don't need to be talented because learning English is for everyone. Peter here is scammer, not there. Okay, people, I think that I've been streaming for 1 hour, 1 minute. I think it's the right time for end this live stream. I want to thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and don't worry. I want to continue with my podcast. I don't want to end this, and I hope that uh, my future partner, my future girlfriend, that or in the future I don't know what can happen. That, but I want to tell you in general. I hope that someone who will connect with me will respect that and it has to support me that I like learning English because I want to spend time with learning English and doing my podcast. I mean, doing my Peter's English podcast and writing my own novel, Virat Vampire Diary, because it's the part of me. It's my hobby, and no one can stop me. You cannot stop me. And if you try to stop me because I have different opinions, I simply don't care and go to the hell. Okay, I think that's all for today. Okay, people, that's all for today. I'll be streaming for 62 minutes. I think that's really end this live stream. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I want to tell you bye bye.